Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at the North Face Basecamp Voyager Daypack. And I've never had a chance to use the North Face's popular Basecamp duffels, but I've heard great things about their durability. They seem to be really useful for travel. I see them all around the world when I'm on trips, and so I was very excited to see that the North Face had released a couple of backpacks that had a similar material and aesthetic, but with some of the functionality that I've been a big fan of in the North Face's other backpacks. And so in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience using this over the past couple of weeks. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the bag, I really like the overall aesthetic. The appearance here feels a little bit more modern and sleek than some of the North Face's more technical looking bags. So it's pretty versatile overall, a little more minimal, but it still has some attachment points along the front. It's got pockets, but it's a look that I think is versatile enough to work well in a variety of environments, whether you're going into the outdoors, traveling, exploring a city, or even taking this into the office. As far as the materials, the bag feels really solidly built. This exterior fabric is a recycled 300D polyester that's reminiscent of the fabric that's used on the North Face's Basecamp duffel, so it's going to offer a lot of abrasion resistance. It's got a coating to give it a nice amount of weather resistance. And then on the bottom, you have a more reinforced 840D recycled nylon to give you a little bit more peace of mind when you're placing the bag down on the ground. As far as the weight, it was a little bit more lightweight than I would have expected. It comes in at under 3 pounds, which is great considering the amount of padding and the features that it has. And then you have some really nice YKK zippers all throughout. Continuing along the outside of the bag, I was really happy to see that you have 2 external water bottle pockets. These offer a nice amount of space. I was able to hold my 26-ounce Yeti Rambler as well as my regular 20-ounce water bottle. They were able to fit comfortably. Always nice to have one on each side. And then the compartments have a nice amount of elasticity that allow it to handle those larger bottles, but also help keep the pockets close to the bag when they're not in use to maintain a cleaner overall look. On the front of the bag, you have, of course, the North Face's logo. It's always a little bit more prominent that I generally like to see, especially on a black bag with the white logo. It really stands out, but I like that it's at least not on the center of the bag. Many of the other ones that I've used from them, like the Surge backpack, have that big white logo front and center, so I like that it's a little bit, lower towards the corner here. And then the bag has a lot of reflective accents all throughout. You see it in some of the stitching, the logo itself. And so it's going to give you some good visibility if you're outside and it's a little bit darker. And then you have a lot of attachment points. I like that they're, kind of blending into the sides and the side of the front of the bag. It's not prominent like some of the other more technical packs. So you have a couple of rows of webbing along the front, great for clipping on things with a carabiner, like a hand sanitizer. And then on the side, you have larger loops that are going to be able to handle something like a hero clip. So I really like the versatility that this adds to the bags as far as allowing you to clip on additional accessories. You have a couple of loops here as well. And so really just adding that functionality without going overboard. At the top of the bag, you have a nice carrying handle, which is, comfortable. It doesn't come up too much, still has a good amount of padding. And then one of the cool things about the bag while we're talking about the exterior is that it has a self-standing design, which manages to work pretty consistently. With a lot of these bags, it will be impacted by how the weight is distributed. So if everything's really front loaded and you pull maybe the laptop out, there's a slight chance that it could tip, but in general, it's managed to work pretty consistently. As far as the capacity, the bag comes in at about 26 liters, which is a size that I really like as it gives me more than enough space for everything that I typically want to carry with me and still a little bit of leftover without feeling overwhelmingly big. And I like that even when the bag is a little bit more packed out, it doesn't feel overwhelmingly bulky or big. It still manages to hug my back well, which makes it great for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, and carrying on to pretty much any domestic or international airline. Taking a look at the harness system, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable to wear. The padding on these straps isn't quite as robust as some of the other North Face bags that I've used, but it still feels like it's going to offer a nice amount of comfort, soft, broken in right out of the box. It's not maybe as breathable as some of these straps that have kind of the air mesh, but so far it hasn't felt bad. They also have a pretty good width to help prevent the bag from digging into your shoulders when it's a little bit more packed out. On the straps, you have a couple of rows of webbing that are going to be helpful for clipping on additional accessories. and then you have an adjustable sternum strap to help distribute the weight. One last thing to call out on the straps is that I did notice that the two straps are fairly close together. I haven't really had any issues with it, but I know that that bothers some people that prefer the straps to be a little bit further apart. So just something worth noting if you're considering the bag, but again, not something that really bothered me. And then on the back panel, you have a really nice amount of padding. This has felt very comfortable. This padding is really robust. It's well distributed all throughout. I like that there's some elevation here to create this air channel to provide you with ventilation while you're walking around throughout the day. You also have a solid frame sheet to help distribute the weight. So I do wish that this type of padding had been used on the shoulder straps as well. No luggage pass-through provided here, which might have been a nice addition considering the size of the bag and how well it might work as a personal item. This is maybe where I would use the webbing that's included on the sides of the bag and a third-party strap to create my own luggage pass-through. So I'll include a link to the one that I typically like to use, but there's probably a lot, and then you can kind of use that as a makeshift luggage pass-through if needed. Jumping into the organizational options, the bag has a nice variety of pockets all throughout. Starting off on the front, you have a zippered quick access pocket that has a good amount of space. And one of the interesting things about this one is that the whole thing is fleece lined. So it's gonna be great for anything that's a little bit more delicate. What I currently have in here at the moment is my laptop charger, the power brick and the cable. And then I also have my iPad mini, which is able to fit in there comfortably, even with my case. And I also have an alpaca pouch that has some of the EDC and tech items that I typically like to use. But because this whole thing is fleece lined, this is probably gonna be a good spot if you have headphones that lay a little bit flatter. If you don't wanna have them with the case, probably slide in. They're gonna have some protection from this lining. And then anything else that you might be carrying. So interesting choice there. I don't normally need that much soft lining, especially considering just the quick access nature of this pocket, but I guess it's a nice addition to have. And then you have an admin pocket. This one is very similar to many of the admin compartments that are on North Face's other bags, like the Recon, the Surge, the Borealis. They all have this same type of layout here. You have kind of this open space along the front that may be good for resting pouches or bulkier items. At the moment, what I have here is my sunglasses with their case. I also just rested my GoPro in there. Probably could have gone down at the bottom with the soft lining. And then on the back, you have a variety of slip pockets. So you have a couple that have some mesh so you can see through. They don't have a ton of elasticity, so the things may kind of slide out. You have to keep an eye on that. One of them, I have my AirPods. Next to that, another similar size, I just have a lightning cable to charge my phone. Behind that, you have another pocket that has kind of a soft lining, probably a good spot for your phone if you don't carry that in your pocket. At the moment, I just have my Apple Magic Mouse in there. And on the other side, you have some slip pockets that are a little bit larger, so it's a little bit big for something like my pen or my stylus, but I currently have one there. And then next to that, I have pocket knife. This is my Spyderco Para 3. And on the back, you have a larger slip pocket that's got an interesting lining. It's not quite fleece lined, but it's a little softer, maybe a good spot for a tablet or an e-reader, maybe a notebook. And then there is a zipper pocket that's gonna be good for smaller items that you don't want floating around. Currently have a field notes notebook in there. And then there's also a little lanyard with a clip that's gonna be a good spot for your keys or a multi-tool. Moving into the laptop compartment, I really like that this has a dedicated laptop area. Makes it very easy to get your device in and out without having to deal with everything that's in the main compartment. This has dual zipper pulls. It's a top loading compartment. It doesn't open completely flat, which never really bothers me. And the implementation here is great. They have this fleece lining on both sides of the compartment. It's able to hold a 15 or 16 inch laptop comfortably. Currently what I have here is a 13 inch MacBook Air. This compartment is properly suspended off the bottom of the ground, so if I drop my laptop in there, I don't have to worry about it bumping against the ground, so always a lot of peace of mind there. So pulling my device out. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. I really like this soft lining on both sides, and then it comes up a decent amount. So if you happen to have a thicker device, it should be able to fit in there pretty comfortably. So again, with the amount of padding that's offered here and the fact that it's pulled up off the bottom of the ground, really feels like your device is gonna be very well protected as you're running around throughout the day. And then the last area that we're gonna be taking a look at is the main compartment. This is a top loading bag, so it doesn't open up fully flat, but the zippers go down enough that you still have visibility into the bag to grab whatever you might need. Pretty simple layout here, so it's going to be great for handling some of the bulkier items that I normally have with me. At the moment, even with what I have here, you can see it doesn't feel overly packed out. That 26 liters of space, really useful. Diving in, what I currently have here is my Beats Studio wireless headphones with their case. Then I have a packable rain jacket. I have my DJI Mavic Mini, also with its rigid case. And then at the bottom, I have the Evergood Civic Access pouch, 2 liters, one of the bulkier pouches that I tend to carry with me. And then the last thing that I have in here at the moment is my Levitate portable standing desk. Now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. Like I said, really simple, not a ton of additional organization or complications. Comes up a nice amount, which is what allows it to handle bulkier items well, but will also allow me to use it for minimal travel. I could easily toss in my packing cube, dop kit, an extra pair of shoes, and use this for a longer weekend trip. And then on the inside of this compartment, you just have one additional zippered pocket on the lid. This is a mesh compartment, so it's nice that you can see inside here, and it offers a nice amount of space and good amount of volume too. So if you have some pouches, additional tech items, toiletries that you want to toss in here, it's going to be able to hold those comfortably without allowing everything to slide down towards the bottom. I didn't really use this because of all the other organization provided throughout the bag, so it's nice that it just stays out of the way if you don't want to use it. And yeah, in general, I really like the layout and the amount of space that's offered in this main area, and everything just feels really well thought out throughout the rest of the bag. Great laptop protection, and if you're looking for a weather-resistant, comfortable, durable bag that's gonna work well in a number of different environments, then this is gonna be an awesome option to take a look at. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the Basecamp Voyager Daypack over the past couple of weeks. You can currently purchase this on the company's site or sites like Amazon or REI for around $140, which is definitely a bit of an investment, but to me feels like a pretty reasonable price considering the features and the build quality that it has to offer, and it's also going to compare well to some of the other similar bags in this price range. And so as I was testing this out, this definitely reminded me of some of the other great bags from the North Face that I featured on the channel, particularly the Surge backpack, which is probably my favorite of their current lineup. I've been a big fan of the organizational options that provides. It just has a lot of really great pocketing. And then it also has a lot of space. It comes in at around 31 liters, so maybe slightly bigger than this one. It has excellent laptop protection. It's suspended, well padded. It's comfortable to wear. The fabric on that is going to be a little bit different than this one. It's not quite as shiny. It's a little bit less rigid, which may be something that people really like. It has the external water bottle pockets and just a really cool layout that is very common on the North Face's bag. So if you're a fan of the company and you're looking for something with maybe just a little bit of a different aesthetic and layout, then that's going to be a fantastic option to consider. Another bag this made me think of is the Mystery Ranch Catalyst 26 liter backpack. I've really enjoyed using that bag over the past year or so. Mystery Ranch always has some really comfortable harness systems, and that one has their unique tri-zip opening, which allows you to grab stuff from the top, open the bag a little bit wider when you want to access everything, which is a little different than the top loading nature of this bag. It's not going to be for everybody, but it does add a lot of versatility to the bag. That one also has external water bottle pockets, a dedicated, suspended, and well padded laptop compartment, so a lot of the same benefits that this bag has. And then it just has a little bit of a simpler layout, but it can still hold an impressive amount, maybe a little bit more, just due to the simpler layout of the main compartment and the organization. So just a really great versatile bag at 26 liters. It's kind of that size that will work for minimal travel. It's a little bit of a larger EDC, but very useful overall. And if you're a fan of Mystery Ranch or you're just looking for something in this size range, that's going to be an awesome option to consider. The next bag this made me think of is, of course, the Fjallraven Raven 28, which I talk about in a lot of my videos, as to me it's still just one of the most versatile and useful bags, particularly from one of the larger brands. I actually have it hanging on the wall behind me. At 28 liters, it's in a pretty similar size range to this. It doesn't feel a lot bigger, but it can hold an impressive amount of stuff. The fabric on that's a little less rigid, so it just kind of adapts to what you're carrying. And then the organizational layout on the Raven 28 is one of my favorites. It's got the external water bottle pockets, lots of great organization built in all throughout, a dedicated and well padded laptop compartment. It's got a pretty comfortable harness system, particularly the updated edition has a little bit more breathability, and it's going to come in at a pretty similar price point. So if you want something that's going to give you some great organization and a little bit more of a heritage or old school vibe, then that's going to be one of the best options to take a look at. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Patagonia Black Hole 32 liter backpack. Patagonia recently updated their Black Hole line, and they have the 25 liter and 32 liter I'm going to call out the 32 liter for the comparison here just because to me it's a little bit more similar as far as the layout and feature set. The 32 liter version of the black hole pack has a dedicated laptop compartment similar to this one. It's got a pretty comfortable harness system. They added a luggage pass-through on the new edition. It has some nice webbing along the front to allow you to attach additional accessories. It has water bottle pockets. It's got more of a matte appearance than the previous editions. Patagonia's black hole line reminded me somewhat of the Basecamp line from the North Face. It was a little shinier, seemed to offer a lot of weather resistance, but the new matte edition to me looks great. It feels like it's gonna just blend in a little bit more. The Patagonia bags tend to have a simpler layout than some of the North Face ones. So you have a large main compartment. It's able to hold a ton of stuff. Really great top quick access area. Couple of quick access pockets. So just a really versatile, useful bag. I've enjoyed the black hole line over the past couple of years, and the new edition is still gonna be a solid alternative. If you're a fan of Patagonia's products or you're looking for something like this, it's kind of an outdoorsy mix that can still work for travel and your day-to-day. With that being said, the North Face Voyager Daypack holds up really well against all those bags, and if you're looking for a comfortable, versatile, weather-resistant bag that's going to offer a nice amount of space and great laptop protection, this is going to be a really good option to take a look at. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the Voyager Daypack and how it compares to some of the other popular EDC bags that are currently on the market. And if there's any similar options that you think that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.